things come to those who believe, better things come to those who are patient, and the best things come to those who don't give up. Namaskar and pranamam to all the esteemed dignitaries, the guests, and to all of you gathered here on this auspicious day. I am Anika Maria Ajit,
And I'm Christina Clara Anthony.
your host for the day. CONFEST 2023, an industrial event and award ceremony, brings together experts from the engineering, architecture, and construction professions. This is a national level event taking place in India that includes all professionals in these fields for the first time. CP Construction is honored to host this conclave and expo.
Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress, and working together is success. Now, I invite Mr. Gauri Dasan Nair, the editorial chief of Construction Philosophy magazine, for the welcome address.
Thank you very much for joining us on this day when we have tried to mount what we consider to be a rather ambitious initiative to bring together some of the finest minds on engineering to Kochi, to interact with professionals, with students and aspiring engineers from different parts of Cochin and Kerala as part of this construction philosophy, construction conclave and expo. We are a 4-year-old organization and we have had a tough going, and that goes without saying because we have all had a tough going during the COVID times. But we have persisted and we have tried to do many things, imagine new things, and we have tried to bring quality to the software of engineering per se, in the sense that we have been trying through our magazine to discuss issues connected with construction industry, and which in itself is not a monolith, which has different streams, different branches, different specializations, and also different value chains. So we've been trying to look at all that in a comprehensive manner through our magazine. And we are currently on a digital mode after the COVID setbacks, but we are bouncing back to a print mode once this program is over. But when we have been both on the digital and on the print, we have been trying to reach out to the really serious people among the engineering fraternity, and we are glad to say that we have been fortunate to interact with some of the best persons in the industry and people who have been very, very gracious to communicate with us and communicate with our readers through the columns of the magazine. So we have given a new twist to our name. We call it CP, because it is easier for the younger generation to connect with us. But construction philosophy is the name to which we stick. You know, when I heard this name for the first time, I was a little amazed. I asked Nebu Abraham, the man behind this whole idea and this project, what do you mean? Is there a philosophy to construction? I don't see much philosophy in construction these days. But he said there has to be a philosophy. And when we interacted with our mentor, Dr. Ishithran, he was very, very convinced that, this is the best name for the magazine, where we need to bring together the entire idea of construction in its diverse forms with a kind of philosophical understanding about life, its sustenance, its sustainability, and its continuance in a changing world. So we have tried to stick to that idea. We have struggled to stick to that idea, but we are persistent and we wish to go ahead. And we are so grateful that, some of the finest exponents in different branches of engineering are here today to join us for the inauguration of this program. And I'm particularly grateful to the columnists, the writers, and the senior functionaries of major industrial and construction engineering institutions and organizations in this country who have taken the time of their very busy schedule to be here with us in Kochi. And particularly so in the case of Shri Loknath Bahara, an old friend, which I think our friendship started way back when he was the Commissioner of Police in Kochi in the early 1980s. And who rose to become the state police chief, and who actually, which is a very, very tough challenge, uh, who left his post in a glorious manner to take up a new challenge, which is of closer to heart for the CP magazine. So I formally welcome Sri Loknath Bahara to the midst of all this august audience to inaugurate this function. Thank you very much, sir. I must name a few. Yeah, I may have to leave out a few people, but please bear with me. I have with me Sri A.N. Prakash, who has come all the way from Bangalore. I have Sri Ganesh Iyer, who has come from Bombay. I have Freddy Soman. I have Dr. Jimmy Thomas. I have Dr. Veerappan, then Dr. Verghese Johns, and Ankur Modi, and many others from many institutions joining us for this program. Pardon me if I have not listed all the names. We are grateful to the various organizations of various engineering organizations, Builders Association, and other organizations who have associated with us to make this program a reality. So may I now, with your permission, invite Sri Loknath Bahara to formally inaugurate this conclave and expo. Please.
Along with Mr. Loknath Bahara IPS, I invite members of IGS, KSUM, IEI, BAI, APS, IPA, GRACE, ASGC, and ICI for the lighting of the lamp.
My old friend Sri Gauridas Nair, I didn't know that actually he will write also on engineering. He used to be prolifically writing on politics to social things, economics. Now another avatar is engineering. It's great, Gauri Saab, and we are really proud of you. And very distinguished persons in this small gathering, including Prakash sir, who has all the way come from Bangalore, and other people, many of whom I know. Look, actually, if you go by the mythological figure like Vishwakarma, so all of you are Vishwakarmas of this present day. We are the people to just go and stay and enjoy that. I always wonder, there's a story in Mahabharata about the palace of illusions. And when the palace is built and Duryodhan is being called to visit the palace, and he thinks that it's water, but it's not water. And what he thinks that it is not water, it is water. Kind of things actually illusion. But this kind of things also have come up. In the modern day, Vishwakarmas like you have already actually produced this kind of things many places in this particular country and outside. Look, what happens is that I will only talk actually, I was amazed with one thing. When I came to Kerala in the year 1987, I was amazed to see the buildings here. Though I belong to Orissa, we have very important actually palaces and temples and all those. But the most striking thing which actually appealed to me and I got really floored is the houses the Malayalis build. With all actually due respect to Prakash Saab and others, I have never seen, I am a very well-traveled person. I have never seen such kind of aesthetics anywhere in the country. Take the example of a simple person who is making a 2 BHK house. He also goes to the aesthetics, the convenience, how it will be cleaned. There are very, very interesting concepts in a Malayali's house. For example, there is a work area with the kitchen. There are very, very fundamental things which will make everybody in the house happy. And the color, the kind of tiles they use, the kind of decors they use, super, sir. I mean, I have not seen anywhere because I stayed in many places. As you know, actually, I worked outside Kerala for more than 16 years. Being in Delhi and Kolkata, I studied outside also. I visited many of the places. The kind of aesthetic, the kind of buildings they make is a thing to be seen. It is because two things. One, the person's idea of living and your Vishwakarma touch. I was telling one of my friends, I built a house here. My batchmate from Odisha, when he visited my house, he said that, look, the combination of the tiles which have been used and the joints in the tiles are not seen. How it can happen? I said, look, I will tell you the hilarious part of this. The workers who actually worked here are from Odisha only. But they don't do that kind of thing in that place, but they do it here. So, what is the actually magic wand you are having? And I wish that magic wand to be always held by you. But you have also drawbacks. I will also tell the drawbacks in terms of when we build infrastructures or we build big IT buildings. When I was actually in Trivandrum, I used to go very frequently to the Techno Park. Now I go very frequently to the Info Park. I was very surprised to know that most of the iconic buildings of the IT majors are not built by our people. It's all built by people from Gurgaon and Bangalore and all those places. Why? I asked one of my good friends and your very senior person, all of you must be knowing, Mahesh, architect, Mahesh Iyer. He's like a brother to me. I said that, sir, why it is so? He said that we have not delved into that particular aspect of building IT buildings. So when I went to the UST Global building, I am very, very, very fascinated about it because anytime I feel like actually seeing a good building, I go to UST Global building in Trivandrum. It's very beautifully made. And it is all pre-engineered, prefabricated, and lot of convenience. So we have to actually go into the things which are coming or which are in vogue right now. I was very surprised. I was telling Prakash Saab just passingly, we have very good builders here, very good engineers here, but they have focused their thing in a particular direction only. Therefore, when I am actually going for a tender we are going for a tender now for 1,200 crores, I don't find a single person from Kerala. Or when we are appointing a GC or a PMC or whatever, they are all from outside. So that particular gap you have to bridge. We have the infrastructure is money and infrastructure is nation building. Therefore, rather than actually only focusing onto the apartments or houses of the individual, which are also important, you have to go for major constructions of the bridges, etc., etc. I'll give a small example. I wanted to make an iconic building for the IIM Kozhikode. Their campus in Kochi. The director, Devashish Dada, I call him, is from Kolkata. He told me, in Bengali, he told me that you must build a beautiful building for me. Anyway, I got it designed through IIT Delhi. This is a 5-storied building next to the QSAT metro station. We had actually around 95 cents of land which has been given to build this. And that building, I wish I would have actually brought that particular engineering part to you. It is actually made 55,000 square feet only. 55,000 square feet to be constructed in 180 days. And that particular building, I assure you, it will be look-wise better than UST Global. It's a very unique kind of design done by some of the students and the teachers from IIT. But when I tendered, trust me, not a single person from Kerala was there. Now this has been taken by a person from Chennai. When you know that we have a shortage of aggregates, the boulders and other things, and you are increasingly becoming dependent on the pre-engineered and prefabricated structures, why you are not able to become competent? My 11 stations which I am going to make for the second phase are all pre-engineered. And I will be the happiest person if a person from Kerala takes it. And because I went for this particular thing, saying that I have to complete this thing in time, so 7 months' time to build the stations. This can be only possible if we think in a particular way. As you say, as in civil engineering, you say time is the essence, etc., etc. But in Kerala, unfortunately, we actually prolong, the cost of the project goes up, then it gets delayed, and it's a vicious circle. Therefore, your actually progress in your mind and innovations in your head is important. If you say that, look, you take this example. When years back, Kerala houses were not built by the masons or the persons who do the painting or something. It used to be made by the Perindachans, the carpenters. The best of the houses are there in Godupala, these places, and so many places, beautiful houses. They have stood the actually time also. From that we have gone to the concrete. Now in concrete, I have nothing against concrete. But the question is that when you are having short supply of the material and the people want, today, my son probably will like, that's you make a house to live there for 10 years. After 10 years, we will change this house. I don't want the bedroom to be facing that side. I want it to be changed. How do you do it? You have a not mold house. You know that I was telling, when I built the house, I built a, outhouse, small house, where my security guys I'll also work. I have a small gym. It is 700 square feet. Done in 18 days. 18 days it is over. But that kind of things you have to necessarily bring as construction philosophy. Today the person wants, if you go for the housing sector, wants it should be done quickly, it should be beautiful, it should be very useful. That's what he wants. And Gauri Sahab or myself, we are supposed to say, old generation will say, no, I will be having this. But the modern generation, they want that way. You have compact flats. When I went to Tevra, the flats are so beautiful, sir. 1,000 square feet, it is so beautiful. You don't have to do, everything is in hand's reach. And you have the smart homes, these kind of things are all there. So what I have wanted to say is that when you are talking with people like Mr. Prakash and Mr. Ganesh Saab and all these, think about what is coming next. Now, there is a revolution in getting the materials. You have choice of materials. Earlier, you have to have only anchor kind of plugs or something. You have now, I don't know how many brands are available. Similarly, what are going to be the claddings, these, that, all these are there. One other thing I would like actually tell you, though, which is very crucial, which I have issued as an order when I was in the police, and I issued the order when I actually took over the KMRL. I said all the buildings which are to be made should be zero maintenance, maintenance-less. Everybody actually who comes to my office says that how did you actually think of this concept? My office is built in such a way, it will not require maintenance for the next 50 years. There is no painting required, nothing to be changed. How do you do it? You leave something actually that, then in a moist climate, you have to paint next year. Think about those things because you have proliferation of material available. It is only your question of how to use your brain to get that particular thing. I'm not talking about structural engineering at all. When I saw a video, a 5-storied building in China is built in 24 hours during the COVID time, I was amazed. Now 2.5 lakh square feet of an apartment complex in Chandigarh has been built in 1 year time in pre-engineered methods. So we have to necessarily think in those times, and as you have studied engineering, the fundamentals have not changed. The methodologies have only changed. So kindly actually bear my actually thing. When I was in IIT, I was studying in the IIT that time, we used to actually think, some of the people used to think, what is coming next in the construction? That time also, they were talking that how to make this quickly. You just see this hanger. 25 years back, this kind of hangers were not there. When I was police commissioner here, I used to not have air-conditioned hangers, and it can be raised in 2 days, and such like a house. So, whether it is housing, whether it is bridges, whether it is anything construction, please innovate. And lastly, I would say, don't stymie, don't actually suffocate your younger engineers. I saw that in my own eyes. I am the boss, I'll say what I say, you do it. Whereas that small girl, she will be coming out with a new thing. She will say there should not be a sink in that particular corner of because of these reasons. But the elder always goes with a perception or a mindset, saying that, oh, I did that everywhere, so let it be like that. But that means we have ignored her, you have actually pulled her down, and probably that was the better solution. Why do we think that what we gave is the best? Therefore, give the younger generations, I'll tell you, in many of the projects, including the water metro when we are doing, many of the ideas came from the younger people who are below 30. And whatever they said, I accepted that. So, the aesthetics, there are many engineering concepts which have come here. Now, the younger people, I have actually opened an AI group. How the AI will help me in construction. And we are working on that. So, let us actually see that we have to progress, we have to survive also. And both the things have to come. So as I said always, jokingly I'll say, which is the word which has been most searched in Google? Just go and ask this question to Google. It is innovation. That is the word which is searched maximum time in Google's. And without innovation, you can't actually survive. So I actually have a small story to tell you before I end. This is what is actually called innovation. This actually person called Steve Jobs who brought Apple. All of you who are using the Apple products, he is the person who conceived everything. Unfortunately, at the age of 20, he started building, along with one of his friends, the Macintosh in a garage. And at the age of 30, he became a billionaire by virtue of Apple Inc. But for some reasons, he was thrown out by the Apple board as the CEO. But after he goes back, he gets into a depression for 3 months, according to him. Then he comes back. He brings the picture for which you are seeing the movies, the way you are now seeing. Nest and other things he did. When the Nest was acquired by Apple, Steve Jobs comes back to Apple. The board appoints him as again the CEO. So as a nostalgic trip, he goes from one room to the other, seeing the headquarters which he built. When he goes to a room, then he finds a boy working on a table something. Then he goes, the Steve Jobs, then they call, "Hi Steve, you are back." They don't call sir and other things like us. He said, "Yes, I'm back." Then he asked, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm developing a music system." "Ah, good. Then Steve goes towards the exit door. Then the boy asks, "Steve, tell me where the speakers will be." Without a wink of eye, he says, "Keep it inside." And you got iPod. That is innovation. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir, for your fruitful words and for showing us another perspective to do better in our field and to think about the future. I also thank you for your presence in kicking off this auspicious moment as the event begins to bloom. I would like to invite Mr. C. Gauridasan Nair and Mr.
Can I please invite Prakash sir, please to come and present the memento.
Good morning, very respected Mr. Loknath Bahara, IPSG, and other dignitaries of the dais. If I intend to go for a lengthy speech, I might get a little nervous because, as Mr. Gauridasan sir has mentioned, this is kind of our new launch. We have come all the way, we have traveled through the hardship times, difficult times, and now we are at the verge of relaunching our printed version of our magazine. And CONFEST is another vertical that we have started intending to bring the best minds of construction to one single podium. This is a place where we network, and as our mission statement itself indicates, we build communities to build our business. So we are trying our best to bring together communities, network, and gain some insights, and gain knowledge, and progress to a better future of construction. I would like to thank everyone who is here joining us for this auspicious day, especially the renowned speakers who have come all the way from different states different cities to bless us with their presence. Thank you all, thank you one and all for joining us today. Thank you very much.